We continue with our SQL in our database project. In the last video, we created a table of very simple data, and then we applied some simple select SQL queries. So we continue with our test data, and then we'll move on to using data from our project. So we start off with looking at our select statement. We have here item and price, and you can see we have our three items and the price descending, highest price first. So now we can apply a where clause over 20. So you can see now we have two rows. If you want another where clause, you can use the word and. So here we've got and price is less than 100. So we've got two where clauses, but we use and. We can also use or. So here we've got where price is greater than 20 or price is less than 100, which selects all of the rows. So after where, we can use and many times, or we can use or. Remember, you can use like. We suggest you use a wildcard, and here we've got beginning with W, for example. So that will select the water item. So item like W has to be greater than 20, won't select anything because the water item is not greater than 20. So here beginning with A selects the apple pie. So we can use multiple where clauses. So now we're going to move on to data we're using in our project. So we open up the database from our project, and you can see here some of the data. We have customer table data. We can look at the items of food, the food items. We can look at some orders, which is just really the IDs. And inside the orders, the order lines, which say like the ID of the food item and the amount of items and the cost. So we can use SQL to check our data. We can select all from customer. We can select all from items. You can see all of the data there. We can select all from orders, and here's our data. And we can change the order line. So we can use select all queries to check we have all of our data, which we do. So this is our project data. Now let's look at some of our data. We can select all from the order line and the items. And we want to make sure that the ID, the item ID, is the same in both tables. So that will match which orders are in both tables. But we need to know which ID is which, so we can use an alias for the table. So we're using OL for order line and IT for items, and then that can tell the SQL which item ID is which. So now we've got everything from both tables. That's called an inner join, just using where and equals. So now we can start choosing what we want to see. Because we have all the columns, we don't want to see everything. So now we're going to choose what we want to see, which columns. So we can use that in the select. So we can look at the IDs, the food, the amount, and the line total. We can run that. Oh, there's a problem somewhere. Okay, so remember that you use the alias. We don't know which ID it wants. So here now we have our details. You can see the ID, the food, the amount, and the total. Now this gives us the details of all the orders. What happens if we just want to see one order? So we can put our order ID into our list, and we can choose which order we want to see. So let's put a where clause when we've got where. We're going to use and we choose the order ID. So we run that, and you can see we've got our details, the food item, the amount, and the total of that line. So if we don't want to see the IDs, we can just remove them from the select, and here you can see our order details. What about distinct? So in some queries we may get a list and it'll have duplicates in, and we can use distinct to remove those duplicates. So let's have a look. Here we've got our list of customers, and we're going to choose the customers. So we're going to where customer, use the alias, and we're going to use order table as well, so we'll call that ORD alias. So we want the customer ID to equal the customer ID in the orders table, so the alias dot and then the customer ID. So this is going to choose all of our customers who've had orders. We can run that and you can see our list. Now you can see some customers are in there multiple times. So let's just look at their names, and we're going to order that by their surnames. So you can see now we've got a list of customers. We've just got their surnames, but you can see we've got duplicates. What happens if we just want a list of the names without duplicates? Don't forget, we need aliases. We can put the order ID, you can check, you can see that some customers have got multiple orders. So here's our customer list, and we've got some customers in there more than once. So we can use distinct, and now we've got a clean list of customer names using distinct. You can see the difference without distinct and with distinct, and there's our clean list of customer surnames. Group by and having. So we've seen select and from, and where, and order by. We can also group things using group by. So you can see here we've got our customers, and we can group by. Let's use group, GROUP, group by, and we're going to group by the customer ID from the order table. So you can see here now we've got the customer ID, last name, surname, and now the total price isn't really the sum of what they've paid. So we can use sum and aggregate, and now you can see that some of the customers, the totals have been summed. So here's the total amount the customers have paid. It's added their total prices together. And we can see each customer using the group by clause. Now if we want to apply something onto that group by, rather than using a where, we can use having. So imagine if we want to see the totals are a certain amount. So totals greater than 250. So now we can see the customers that have a total cost or total spending more than 250. So that uses the sum aggregate. Now some practice exercises. If you want to follow along, this is the table and this is the data, and these are the questions. So we'll go through these questions. If you want to carry along, then copy and paste the create table, or type it into your SQLite window, the SQL window. So we've got create table. Then we need to insert the data. So you can stop the video, pause the video, and type in the data if that's what you'd like to do, if you want to follow along. So we've created our table. Then we've got the insert into statements. Error. Be very careful when you copy and paste, especially the single quotes or double quotes can be the wrong character. So these insert statements are incorrect because the copy and paste didn't work. So now we change that, you can see the strings have changed to a red color. So those insert statements work. So be very careful when you're looking at data, especially if you copy and paste it from somewhere else. Okay, let's have a look what data we've got in our tables. So here we're going to select all from customer and we run that, and you can see we've got our table with our 3 rows in. Number 1, display the nickname and age of all the customers. So we're going to use a select statement, and we want to see the nickname and we want to see the age. So there's our table with the nickname and the age of our customers. Now, exercise 2, we want to see the nickname and age of the customers, but we want it in order of the nickname or the age. So we're going to use order by, and then we can order by age. You can see that orders the table by the age, or we could order by nickname, which obviously orders in order of nickname. Select the first and last names for customers under 21 years old. So we've already got age, so we can change, and let's select all from customer. We can run that first of all. We can see our data. Good to see your data to make sure your answers are correct. So we want to see the first name and the age, and let's put last name in from customer. So we're going to look at the first name and last name where age is greater than, age is less than 21. So let's run that, and we have our 2 answers. So you can put in age to check that you're correct. Number 4, select all customer details with cells over 1000. So we're looking for all of our customer details, and we want cells to be greater than 1000. We can run that, and you can see the actually we'll change age to cells, so we can look at the cells, make sure it's correct, and here's our 1 row that is the answer. Finally, select customer details whose last name begins with S. So we want to look for our customers, and we want to see our last name, and we want to find last names beginning with S. So we can use last name, where, last name, like, and then in quotes we're going to use S, and then the wildcard, which is the percentage sign. Finish off the double quotes, and we can run that, and you can see we found our 2 rows beginning with S. So there's the answers to our practice exercises. Now we've got some exercises about our project. So here, if you pause the video, you can look at these SQL statements. You can try them yourself if you like. If you don't feel like trying it, have a look at the queries anyway, and then look at the solutions to see how things are done. Here we're going to select all from customer, and we need to order by, what we're going to order by, is it last name? Last name it is. So we can run that, and we can see we have our customers in order of last name. Number 2, select all the food items that have been ordered in a ordered list with no duplicates. Number 3, give the order ID and the names in surname order of the customers with an order. Number 4, give the order ID and the names of the customers whose surname begins with H in surname order who have an order. Number 5, show the average price of orders for each customer. Number 6, show the average price of orders for each customer and order it so the highest average is first and the lowest average is last. Order customers by last name and first name. So what is your database? Tell us what you want to do in your project in a comment below. And if you've liked this video, please click like, it really helps us. And if you haven't already, subscribe, click that notification bell to be notified when the videos get released.